Hey everybody, Anthony Dodge, Mile Train Outsider, the American Outsider, a Night of the Rhomboid Table, here with a mini update on a little bit of progress I've done on my layout. As I said in my last video about the Bremen side, I have been motivated to get going and finally start doing the scenery by having redone the Bremen platforms and then ballasted them. I've wanted to keep going. Life happens and things have been delayed, but I did a little bit a couple of weeks ago, which I'll show in this video. You may have seen on the live streams. And then the last 2-3 days I've done just a little bit more. I'm not going very far. I may be getting a couple of feet a day, but the last few days I've been doing some things. So I'll just give you a quick overview. Again, I don't show myself working because I have enough trouble doing the work without worrying about camera angle and what you're seeing and what you're not seeing. And there wasn't any point in stopping and saying, okay, here's what I've done, here's what I've done. So let's go to those videos. I haven't been doing a lot the last couple of weeks, but I have started this where when I left off, I was ballasting here, and obviously the ballasting will need a little dirtying up, and I'll be adding little weeds and that to it, but that's way down the road. But what I'm doing now is I've been adding just some scenery here. This is obviously just basic stuff. What I do is I have a special mix of a brown fine ballast and dirt that I mix to put as an undercoat, and then I put green, a mix of different green scatters on top of that, let it soak in and dry. And I'm just trying to bring some scenery coming out of the station. And again, I'll eventually put some static grass, but it'll be random. It'll be I don't want this to be all static grass because, especially near stations, you don't have a very consistent grass. You know, the rail companies in Germany will come through and weed it down, you know, mow it way down, and then we'll get some, they actually plant a lot of wildflowers along a lot of the tracks, so we'll get some wildflower looking stuff along in here and get just mixes of static grass and clumps and so forth in here. So I've done it here, and then down on this end, and I came around this area, and so I've come here. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into these turnouts until I'm 100% content with how they're working. I've got, I think it's this one here is being a little tricky, like 1 out of every 10 times. The one up there is being a little trickier, a little bit more than that. And to the point where I'm considering replacing them. And again, it's just about the wirings getting up into it, but I did have a train that a couple of times has just opened the straight, and you know, I've got the little grass mats I've bought and cut in just to have some scenics there, but now we're trying to get something a little more realistic. I wanted to get to this today, but I didn't. I was going to go ahead and do this corner area here and take the trees and the camera out and do this all the way here and just have a corner done to get a feel for it. And then technically I still need to put a little bit of ballast on this side of the track here. But there's something I'm planning on doing here yet. But otherwise, yeah. And then on the platforms, I just added a bunch of these leftover bits from kits when I built the Delmenhorst platforms and added on. None of this will stay because there's actually a big canopy roof thing here, which I'll design. And then on the outside, they have little roofs like this just outside. So I'll build sort of the canopy, and then I'll use these on the outside. I do have some special things I'm planning on adding here, but I've got to get all that stuff, and it's expensive. You know, nobody makes 3D prints of some of the things I need, plus I'd then have to paint them, which I don't want to do. But I do have some people and some benches and some pop machines, but I've got to get all that stuff because I need more and more and more, and it gets expensive. Obviously, we all talk about it's an expensive hobby depending on how much you want to put into it, but at least I've added some scenery. So just the beginning. And then we'll dirty it up and oil it up. I'll probably take a rust wash or a black wash and just run it through here to make the rocks look a little oily and so on. But it does add a nice touch to it. It does add a little bit. It looks better than pink and brown foam, right? All right, so that's where I'm at right now with the layout. So in step 1, I did this area in here up to about there. Step 2, a few days later, I did this entire area, and I haven't done any further here. Then step 3, I came back here and I filled in this area. And then step 4, I've done the last day here where I took from here and went here. It's still wet here. And I just came up to these sheets here. I ran out of the brown stuff you can see here, so I have to buy the stuff I mixed to make that, and then remember from 6 years ago how to mix that. But at least I've got the scenery up here. So for outside of Bremen up to there and all the way through, and then coming around to here, this will look better. Obviously, it's still wet. I just poured the glue a few minutes ago, but actually it's a second coating of glue to help sort the little scatter I put on top and sink it in. But I did this area over here when I did this last extension here, because I actually did this part in a couple. I came up to here and then came back about 2 hours later and said, never mind, I'm just going to do this little bit. And went ahead and did this corner here, so I actually kind of got a corner. Obviously, it's not done. There's stuff you're going to put in here. Wildflower, some various tufts of static grass and weeds. But at least it gives it some scenics around here. And then I will just continue to go as I can. I'll take these mats out. Really want to decide, as I mentioned in the previous video, to take this one out and another one up there that are being just occasionally tricky. It's not always, but it's occasionally, and it makes me a little nervous. And I'm going to print up some new back seams just to put along here, and something similar to those back there, which are actually pictures Joyce took. And over there, Delmenhorst. And I'll put some things together and just try to get some more scenics going, and then eventually I'll get all the stuff on here, but that'll probably be on my trip to Germany or so. But at least it's given it something. So, back to me. Okay, so I'm just getting, I've got maybe 3 to 4 feet around this corner and a foot to 18 inches on the other corner. And the only reason I've stopped is I ran out of my base ballast. What I use is I buy fine Woodland Scenics Fine Dark Brown, Woodland Scenics Fine regular brown, and I mix the two until I get the color I want. And then I actually throw in just a little bit of fine black ballast as well, just a little bit. And I think that really creates a nice effect, even though you never really see it, because I then put scatter grass on top of it. But it creates a very nice leveling effect of terrain. And then I will go back and add sometime some static grass, some I've got tufts of grass, some wildflowers and things like that, weeds and weed bushes that will then go in there as well. Plus I'll dirty it up and maybe add some additional colors to it just to create some eye contrast there. So yeah, but I ran out, and the thing is, the stuff I had is from my last bit of wargaming and some stuff I had bought when I first got into model trains and started building the layout. and I've run out of stuff. And to be honest, I don't even remember my recipes for the mixtures. It wasn't a true 50-50 mix. It's sort of like add some of this and then start with this until it gets to like shake it up, and then that's the color I want. Or nope, I need a little darker, add more of the dark brown. Oh, need a little lighter, add more of the regular brown. So, you know, it's going to be underneath everything anyhow. It's not even necessarily going to be seen except where the grass is patchier. And I think that's very realistic than an all grass field, you know, a perfectly laid, which looks beautiful, obviously. But to have bits where there's mud and rock showing through and everything else. So that's what I've done. Anyhow, that is what I've done and where I'm at. It's something very special to actually have terrain, to have some scenic going on there, even if it's at a most base, banal level. It's still better than painted pink insulation board, right? Right. So I'm in a pause pattern for now. I don't know. I did order some more stuff, but I really would like to go to a hobby shop, maybe Ormondy's, and pick up a couple of bottles. Have an excuse to go to a train shop. But I did buy some stuff on Amazon, actually eBay, because it was cheaper there, although everybody was overcharging. I know I could go to the local hobby store and get it, but their selection is small. If I go to Ormondy's, I know they've got a large selection. So now I'm babbling again. On that note, I want to thank everybody who watches. Thank you. Please check out all our videos, all our Matt Clark stuff, our pun song videos, the various videos of me building this layout over the last 5-6 years, or not building it for the last 5-6 years. And to anybody who's a new subscriber catching these videos, thanks for joining. Welcome in. Hopefully there's something you'll find to like, but be that as it may, auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains. Take care, everybody.